Hi, I'm Sahar,
And I'm Shreya. Welcome to our show, Only Spoilers.
where I tell Shreya about a book I read or a movie I watched. In today's episode, I'm going to talk about A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah Chimas. Are you going to read it?
Definitely not.
Then let me tell you all about it.
Okay, let's get into it.
A quick disclaimer before we begin. Please keep in mind that some details may be left out or dramatized since this is a retelling of the story and there's a lot to cover. Okay, so this is a fantasy series, as you know. So I'm gonna establish the world for you first, how the world building and everything works. So this is about a world called Prythian, and there are 7 courts in it. So these are all. So do you know who fairies are?
Yeah, I know like Tinkerbell type fairies.
No. So those fairies are different, but the fairies in this book are different. They look like humans, but they have elongated ears and they have superpowers, or
Okay.
like they have magic, and they're not humans, but they look like humans,
Mhm.
right? And then some can transform. They're very powerful. The only, like, if you see them, the only differentiation is like they have pointed ears.
Okay.
So in this world, humans and fairies live together, but then there was a war, and now there is a wall established that separates the fairy world from the human world. So the protagonist of the story is Feyre, who lives in the human world. She's a human. And then she lives in a village that's that's near the wall. And then, so the human world is poor. They don't have that many resources. And then Feyre herself, her and her family, they're also poor. So she has 2 sisters, Nesta, Elaine, and then she's the youngest. Nesta is the older sister, then comes Elaine, and then Feyre. And then they have a father. Their mother died a few years ago, and then her father used to be a merchant. They used to be very rich, but then he lost all his money and they became poor. So now Feyre goes into the forest and hunts for the food that they can eat, because obviously they don't have no money. They can't buy food or anything. They live in a very broken down hut, and she labors all day to get them food and money, and like whatever animal she kills, she'll sell their skin to get them money for clothes and all of those things, right? And she expects her sisters to help her with the chores and stuff. They don't. All they care about is how pretty they are. The money that Feyre gets, like, oh, I need new shoes, I need new coat. And the father has a broken knee, so he doesn't help anything. All he does is sit around, make wooden carvings out of whatever wood they have saved. And like Feyre is the only one. She's 19. I mean, it's winter and she's miserable. She's sad. She's like, I don't know why my family is like this. She doesn't like her sisters. Her sisters don't like her. They live in a very small hut where these sisters share a bed. And like every morning she wakes up at the crack of dawn and like goes out looking for food. And then all of these ungrateful people are just, not helping her. One day, and it's the middle of winter, right? She's scared that if I don't hunt, we're all gonna starve to death, and we're all cold. So she has to go out every day.
Yeah. Wait, this is on the human side, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's human.
Okay.
So Feyre is human, and then this is on the human side. They live
Okay.
in the village that's close to the wall.
Okay.
So one day she goes out hunting and she's trying to hunt a deer, and then she sees that there's a wolf right beside the bush that she's hunting from, but the wolf doesn't look like a normal wolf. It's really big, and it has like the way she describes it is like the wolf is too intelligent, so it's not a normal wolf. So there are rumors that a lot of Fae from the other side of the wall, they come into the human lands to kill humans and stuff. So she thinks this is one of those wolves, right? But then she's like, oh my God, if I move and he sees me, then I'm dead. He's going to forget all about the deer. So she's like, should I kill the deer first or the wolf first?
Yeah.
And then she has one ash arrow. So nothing can kill these fairies except ash arrow.
Oh, okay.
So there's a tree which is called a ashwood tree, and if you make arrows out of them, that's lethal to them. Otherwise, anything else the humans do, it's of no use.
Yeah.
So she has one ash arrow, luckily. So instead of killing and then the wolf sees the deer, is trying to go kill the deer. So Feyre shoots the ash arrow at the wolf, and then it also kills the deer. So she like one arrow and two things.
Yeah.
She shoots it through the eye or whatever. So she ends up killing the wolf and the deer, and then she's very shocked, like, oh my god, I killed a magical creature and stuff. But she doesn't think too much about it because
she's protecting herself.
She's protecting herself. It's her survival instinct. Like, if she doesn't get food back to her family, they're all gonna die.
Yeah.
So she skins the wolf because she can't carry it the whole way, but then takes the deer home, and then they have dinner and everything. And then she goes to the village the next day, tries to sell the skin of the deer and the wolf, and then she sees a mercenary who, and then Feyre is like, I'll sell this to you instead of the other people in the market because they're not going to give me that much money. You look like somebody who needs it, and I need some information from you. So Feyre tries to talk to this mercenary. It's like, what is happening? Like, I hear all these rumors about the fairies coming coming past the wall. Are we safe? Do I need to move my family somewhere else? And like, she doesn't have any money to do it, but she's still thinking, right? Look, I have to protect my family. She's the youngest of them, but she's still like, the other sisters, they don't care about it. All they're looking for is like whatever Feyre makes, whatever money she makes off of this, they want new shoes and all of that, spend it on themselves. But Feyre is trying to protect them. So the mercenary is like, yeah, there are rumors, but just keep an eye out. Where did you get this wolf pelt? Like, this does not look like a normal wolf size. She's like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. She doesn't want to accept that she killed a fairy, right? And then she gets the money, gets the information from the mercenary, goes home that day. And then they're all fighting. Like, Nesta is like, oh, I don't want to help you. Like, why can't you do it? Like, I don't want to chop wood. I get splinters under my nails.
Oh my god.
And then Elaine is like, oh, it's fine. Like, Feyre, you are so much better at it. Why don't you do it?
Oh my god.
And then they go into the room and refuse to help. And the father is like, oh, I'm so proud of you. Thank you for, looking after us and all of that. And she's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And she has no friends. She only has one friends with benefits. His name is Isaac, but she can't marry him because he's from a better family, and like their family will not accept Feyre. And she doesn't want to marry herself. She just wants her sisters to be situated. So she's like, all I want is for you to find good men, marry them, because we don't have any money to give you for dowry. So just, find good men, get married so that I can only have to worry about myself and our father.
Yeah.
That's all she cares about. And then Isaac is just, her relief, somebody to talk to who understands the struggle, but like he goes back to his normal life. Then one night they're all having dinner, and then a creature breaks into their hut, and then he's screaming. Like, so it's described as a wolf with horns, and he's really tall. And like he's screaming, it's like, who killed it? Which of you killed the wolf? And then they're all terrified. Nesta and Elena, like, we didn't do anything, it was her. They completely pointed at Feyre. Like, we had nothing to do with this, it was her.
Oh my god. Okay.
Exactly. And then Feyre is
like, damn, you guys, thanks.
Exactly.
After all I did for you, wow.
Seriously.
You really threw me under the bus. Okay.
Exactly, they do that. And then the wolf is like, are you sure it was you? And then Feyre is like, yeah, it was me. Leave my family alone. It was me. Why? What do you want? It's like, do you not know that there is a treaty between the fairy and the humans? We are not allowed to harm you, and you're not allowed to harm us in turn. And then we keep the peace. And Feyre is like, I had no idea. Like, these fairies are the ones. Okay, so the war between fairies and humans happened 500 years ago. But the fairies live so long that the people who are the fairies who are still alive, they've been alive for 500 years. So whatever rules and regulations they made, they expected the humans to tell their next generation, but it gets lost.
Changed. Yeah.
They die so soon and all of that. So Feyre doesn't know anything about a treaty or the rules and regulations of it. So Tamlin is like, okay. So the wolf is like, you broke the treaty, and there's a rule that there's a payment, a life for a life. So you took a life, so the payment is I have to take your life. And then she's like, don't kill me. I will do anything, because if you kill me, my family is going to die.
Yeah.
So he's like, okay, then you come with me. You're going to stay with me. You're going to pay your life debt, and then I'll take care of your family. And then she refuses. She's like, no, I'm not going to leave my family. I can't trust you. You're a fairy.
Yeah.
Because they have all these stories about you can't trust these people. They only want advantage. They want to take advantage of us and all of that, right? But reluctantly. And then the father is like, you go, Feyre. You go take care of yourself. I will handle it from here. And she's like, how are you going to handle anything
with your knee?
Exactly. For all of these years.
What are you going to do? Limp around?
Yeah. We've lived in poverty for 5 years, and you have not helped a single day, and now you want to step up? Like, what are you going to do? But the beast is like, no, you have to come. And then he takes her away, right? She says goodbye to her family, and then she leaves reluctantly. But her whole time she's like, okay, I have to go back. I have to run away from this, because I don't know where he's taking me. It's going to be a different land. What am I supposed to do? Is he going to keep me in prison? Am I supposed to work for him? No idea, right? And then they ride towards the wall, but he sedates her. Like, he puts a magic spell on her, and then she is knocked out for 2 days, and then she wakes up in the fairyland. So because he didn't want to reveal how you go past the wall and where the crack in the wall is, because he doesn't want
security precautions.
Exactly. Right. All of that. And she doesn't know who he is, where he's taking her. So it was dead of winter in the human lands, but when she enters the fairy world, it's the peak of summer.
Oh wow.
So he's like, oh, I'm from the...
She's like, damn, you guys have been here this whole time while we're suffering on the other end.
Exactly.
What did we do?
Yeah. So the fairyland is divided into 7 courts. There are 4 seasonal courts, and then 3 solar courts. So it's summer, winter, autumn, and spring. And then there's day, night, and then dawn. So she is taken to the summer court. So it's always summery. They have summer 24/7, 365 days in their region. And then he takes her to a big estate, and she's like, oh my God, this guy is rich. But what am I supposed to do here? I have, like, all my life, I was just, surviving to keep my family alive. What do I do with myself now? She has no hobbies, no nothing. She doesn't know what to do with herself anymore.
Yeah.
And then he's like, and then she asks him, like, what am I supposed to do here? And he's like, I don't care. Go anywhere you want. If you want to live here, you can live here. I will give you food to eat and clothes to change into, but do whatever you want.
Oh, so the deal was either kill her or kidnap her, and then she gets to just live her life in the fairy world?
Yeah, just pay the life debt in whatever way you want.
Oh.
Because if he kills her, then there will be another
one on him.
So
I see.
He's like, you just have to pay for his life by doing something. And she's like, what am I supposed to do? He's like, I don't care.
Well, damn, so girl, you got a vacation for life. Like, you don't have responsibilities with your family anymore. Live your life. Yeah. That's what I'll say. But okay.
So the beast turns into a man. He's very tall. He's very handsome. He has blonde hair.
Nice.
But he has a mask on his face. Like a masquerade mask.
Like over his eyes or over his mouth? No. This is post-COVID time, so I need some clarification.
You can see his mouth.
Okay.
You can't see his eyes. So
interesting.
His face, his nose, and his eye area is covered in a mask. Okay. So imagine a masquerade ball and the masks you wear, right? That covers your mouth. That kind of a mask.
Okay.
It's a golden mask. It has like emeralds and everything encrusted
bougie
in
man.
it.
Bougie.
Yes. Like he's wearing a green tunic. So the way that their clothes are described as pants and tunic. Okay. So tunic is like a shirt.
Yeah.
So he's wearing a green tunic, tan, like beige pants, and like a vest.
Okay.
And he's very tall, very handsome, from whatever she can see.
Ooh.
And then he has blonde hair.
All right.
And then he takes her. So he's like, okay, come sit, eat. And it's a huge table with like food on it. And she doesn't trust them because she's been told her whole life that you can't trust fairies. They will trick you and cheat you and kill you. And then she's still like, I don't know what's going on. Take me back to my family.
Mm.
And then he's like, you haven't eaten for 2 days. Just sit and eat and then go wherever you want. Run
Yeah.
away for all I care.
Like, chill, girl. Just calm down.
Exactly. And then she's like, oh my God, no, so the reason she takes care of her family is because she made a promise to her mother on her deathbed. Her mother was like, Feyre, you have to take care of them. Promise me.
Oh
so
my God.
why would you ask your youngest daughter to be the responsible one?
Honestly, yeah, that's true. She's the youngest, right?
She's the youngest.
Oh, I thought she was the oldest.
No, the oldest is she doesn't care about anything. The oldest
interesting.
one.
Damn. It's always the promises to the dead parents that eats up these characters.
Exactly.
Honestly.
So now she's like, okay, so I have fulfilled my promise to my mother. My family is being taken care of because Tamlin promised me he is going to. So what do I do now? But she still feels like, no, I have to go back.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then another man who lives in the house joins them for breakfast or lunch, whatever they're having. He is also tall, muscly, built. He has red hair.
Mm-hmm.
He's also wearing a mask, but his mask is like a fox's mask. So it's like red and everything. And one of his eye is metallic.
Oh.
And there's like a scar. So however he injured his mask.
Mysterious.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then they introduce themselves, and like the red-haired one is called Lucian, and the blonde one is called Tamlin.
Okay.
And then, so Tamlin is the owner of the house and everything. Lucian is his friend.
Okay.
And then they're like, they're trying to talk to Feyre, but she's like scared and trying to run away and everything.
It's like, calm down, girl. You're amongst the hunks now.
Yeah.
Like, chill, bro.
Yeah.
What are you so worried about?
So she eats and then goes back to her. So she's given a room and everything. And then she's given a caretaker. So this woman, her name is Alice. And then she's like, don't trust anyone here. Keep your eyes and senses open, and anything can betray you here. Just keep your wits about it.
Who said that?
The caretaker, Alice.
Okay.
So Alice is like her, I don't know, the people who help you get ready and stuff. The rich people, this thing.
Right.
So that. Okay. And then Feyre in a few days finally accepts her fate. Okay, I have to live here. There's nothing else I can do. She roams around this huge house. There's paintings everywhere. And okay, so one thing about Feyre is she loves to paint, but since they fell into poverty, she hasn't had the means or the utensils to do that, right? A few years ago, Elaine bought her like 4 basic colors of paints, and she painted flowers on the dining table, and then the dresser that the sisters shared. So she painted flames for Nesta because she's all fiery and made of steel and like strong and everything. She painted flowers for Elaine because that's who Elaine is, soft and like, bubbly and everything. And then for herself, Feyre painted a night sky with like a moon and the stars. She doesn't know why. It just gave her peace. So she looks at all the paintings and everything, and she wonders like, oh my God, these are so pretty. And like, I wish I had paints so I could paint, finally do something with my time. That's all she wanted to do. If she wasn't hunting and killing for her family to survive, that's all she would have wanted to do. Just paint and, be happy. So she warms up to Tamlin, and like they talk to each other, and then she's like, I want to paint. And then he's like, oh, okay, I'll get you paints and stuff, and then I'll empty a room for you, and then like you can make your studio. And then he gives her a tour of his estate, and like he takes her to his library, and then she sees it's full of books and so many old paintings. And then she sees a huge painting of what's a depiction of how Prythian or their world was made. So it was all dark. And then there was a small source of light that came out of a cauldron. And then there's this figure that they think is the mother. So the cauldron was tilted and the golden liquid came out of it that formed the world. So, and then that's how all of them got their power, and then the humans and all of these high lords and stuff, right? So all these 7 courts, they're all governed by one person who's called a high lord. So eventually she finds out that Tamlin is actually a high lord of the summer court.
Oh,
So,
damn.
oh yeah.
Okay. She's messing with the big boys.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's very rich, but he's very troubled. Like,
oh wait, so if he's the high, but he's not the high lord for the whole land.
No, so
just for
the summer court.
Oh, okay.
For the spring court. Why do I keep saying summer court? It's the spring court. He's
Okay.
the high lord of the spring court.
Okay.
So each court has a high lord. He's the high lord of the spring court. Then there's one for the summer, for day, and then autumn, and all of those.
But he's not like the originator of the world.
No.
Okay.
Because the world is like thousands and thousands of years
Right.
old. Tamlin is only 500 years old.
Oh, okay.
Only 500 years old.
Only 500.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he fought in the war and everything.
Oh, I see.
So she finds out, like, she talks to him, and like they become friends, and like he's like, yeah, I fought in the war and this. Like she learns from hearing Tamlin's and Lucian's conversations that that they're this old, and Lucian isn't 500 years old. He was born after the war, but like centuries and centuries have passed. But something weird is going on. Even though Tamlin is the high lord of the spring court, how these big people are, there should be other people in their house, right? In their court, like people serving them, talking to them, like coming to us. The whole house is empty. It's just Lucian, Tamlin, people in the kitchen, and Alice. And she asks Alice, like, where is everybody? Why is his court empty? And then she's like, I can't tell you anything about it. It's none of my business. And then Lucian and Tamlin are always whispering, and they're getting reports about an attack here and like this and this. And then she asks them, like, what is going on? And then Lucian says, oh, there's a curse on our magic. So they call it the blight. And then they're like, our magic is restricted and like it's dying and something bad is happening to it, and we're trying to, cure it or find a cure for it. That's why you don't see people around here. That's why we have a mask on our face, because the magic is misbehaving. And then it's all very cryptic, and she doesn't understand, and she's like, how can I help? And Lucian is like, you can't do anything. You're a human.
Yeah, you're a human.
You're powerless. You're useless. Just, stay here.
Yeah.
And enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
But Feyre, again, wants to do the most.
Yeah.
And then she wants to find answers, but nobody is giving her any answers because, I don't know, they can't. So Lucian very slyly tells her that, oh, if you want to know answers, you have to capture this creature called the Surreal. So there's this mythical creature who, if you capture, will answer any question, because that person knows everything. So the Surreal for us is like Gossip Girl. He knows everything.
Okay.
Any question you ask the Surreal, it'll give you the tea.
Okay.
Right?
Nice.
So she asks Lucian how to catch it. So he tells her.
It's an animal type thing, or is there only one of it, or is
no? It's a whole species. It's
okay.
But if you catch one of them,
is it like a rat?
So it's described as, it's a very bony structure, and it's covered in darkness. Like it wears it's a dark cloak, and like its mouth is like black and sharp teeth and all of that. So imagine a Dementor, like the face of a Dementor, like under the hood.
Damn.
Yeah, that kind of thing. And it has like long and sharp nails and talons. So if it catches you, it'll kill you.
But she has to catch it first
to
get the answers. Oh.
So she gets chicken blood from the kitchen, and she grabs bow and arrow. So she is a good shot, right? She has a very nice aim, and then she grabs a cloak and she goes into the forest. So she captures the Surreal, and then the Surreal is very surprised that, oh my God, a human has got me. And then she's like, how could you tell? And he's like, oh, I can smell you. And then the Surreal is like, who told you about me? Who betrayed the secret of, capturing me? Because I guess it's it's you can't talk about it, like, how, because he's like, oh, you're a human, you're not supposed to know this about me or about this world, why are you even here? And then she's like, oh no, nobody told me. My mother before she died used to tell us stories about, the fairy world. And then then Farah is like, don't waste my time, answer my questions. And he's like, what do you want to know? And then she's like, can I go back to my family? Like, is there any way I can break the rule of this treaty that I have to serve out my life sentence and stay here? I don't want to stay here. I have no purpose here. I want to go back to my family. He's like, no, there's no other way you can, be with your family. You have to be here. It's just how it is. And then she's like, how can I help Tamlin and whatever curse this is on them? And then he's like, you have to be more specific. You have to ask me a very specific question. I can't just give you a broad answer, right? And then he's like, the Suriel is like, you have to stay with the High Lord. And that's when Feyre finds out that, Tamlin is a High Lord. And then the Suriel is like, all the courts, all the 7 courts, all their High Lords, they don't have power. They are the power.
Oh.
They're very powerful. But then across the sea, there's another continent called Highburn, and it has a king. That continent doesn't have courts like this. It's just ruled by one king. And that king, when the war ended, it did not like that the humans were taken away. So when humans and fairies lived together, humans were their slaves. And then the fairies who were on human side, they fought for the humans' freedom, but Highburn lost all its slave. So it's not happy now. And then he wanted to bring down Prythian and be like, you either give me my slaves back or I'm going to destroy you. So, but at first he didn't say his intentions like that. He's like, oh, let's just, be friends, have trade routes between our countries and stuff. So he sent over commanders and his highly educated courtiers to Prythian to be like, oh, let's be friends and stuff. And one of those courtiers betrayed Highburn, and then the Suriel was about to tell Feyre more, and then they hear the Naga coming. So Naga are like dog-like creatures. They're also very scary, and then it can kill you. And Suriel is very scared that, I don't want to die. Just, he's like, Feyre, let me go. I've told you all I can, but just let me go. You also run because you will also die if they reach here. So she lets him go, runs across, and then the Nagas catch up to Feyre, and then she's running and screaming and try to fight with them. And then Tamlin, wherever he was, he hears this commotion in the forest and he runs to save her. They kill all the Nagas and stuff. And then
how did they kill them?
He turns back into his beast form and like rips them to shreds.
Wow, nice.
Because he's very powerful.
Right.
But his power is like diminished. So whatever power you see, he is 100 times more powerful than that. Usually, yeah.
Yeah.
So she goes back to the house.
So the whole point of her finding out about this whole continent, why does that matter?
The Suriel was going to tell her why it matters, but then he got interrupted. So we don't find out now. We will find out later what happened, like what is actually going on in Prythian.
Okay.
Like what is this curse, where it came from, why can't these people talk about it? And so the first question she asked the Suriel is like, why aren't you wearing a mask if you belong to the Spring Court? Because everybody who belongs to the Spring Court is wearing a mask, like is stuck in a mask.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't belong to Spring Court. I don't belong to any court. I'm older than this world and all the courts. So,
I'm just where I am.
I'm just where I am. I'm just who I am. I roam around this whole continent without anybody telling me no. And then I was like, oh, okay.
Okay.
So she goes back to the house. Tamlin is furious at her. Like, what were you thinking? You would have died. And she's like, oh, I just wanted answers. And then Lucien is guilty.
Lucian's the one who told her to go.
Yeah. He's feeling guilty because he was nearby. He knew what Feyre was going to do. And when she started screaming, he didn't run for help. He didn't run to help her. Tamlin, wherever he was, ran to help her. And then Lucien is like, I think he apologizes, but not really, because,
Yeah, he's a little suspicious. It sounds like he set her up to fail.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. And she asks him things up front, like, why did you say that, or why did you do that, or why won't you tell me this? And he's like, I can't talk about it.
Yeah.
And then Lucian and Tamlin are always whispering about something, and as soon as she enters the door,
It's like quiet.
like, we can't tell you. And then Lucian and
I bet Lucian's like, so what I had for lunch today was blah 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 blah. And this poor girl is just like, oh my god, what are they talking about?
once she overhears Lucian and Tamlin fighting, and Lucian is like, I know you have a heart of stone, but don't be that heartless. Come on. Like, you're taking it too far. She doesn't know what they were talking about. She just overheard that part, and then she walks in. Like, they're obviously, they have a heightened sense of hearing because they can hear her come from, like, when she's coming down the stairs. So they stop talking. And wait, let me gather my thoughts a little bit. There's too many details.
Okay.
So another detail about Feyre, she's illiterate. She doesn't know how to read or write.
Oh, interesting.
Because when she was younger, when she was 10 or 11, is when her mother died. And she was like a neglected child. The governess never really taught her. The older two sisters were taught everything, but then Feyre was just like, forgotten about it. And then when they became poor, obviously there was no time to learn or anything. So she taught herself how to hunt. Like the day she realized we're not going to get any food or anything, we're going to die, she went out, saw other people do it, and taught herself. Like she would first put small traps for rabbits and stuff, and then slowly she got some money, bought herself bow and arrow, and then went out hunting and all. So, and then Tamlin realizes that, she doesn't know how to read and write, and he tries to. So she was reading once in the library, and she was making a list of all the words she doesn't know how to pronounce or the meanings and everything. And then Tamlin finds it, and then he's like, "You don't know how to read." But he was asking out of concern, but she got ashamed and got angry, so she threw out the list and left, like, don't make fun of me. You don't know what my life has been like. And but he was just trying to help her. He's like, "Oh, I can teach you." She's like, "Why? Do you have nothing else better to do? Like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Just let me be." And then, he's like, "How can I help you? Like, even though you're living here, tell me what you want." And then she tells him that, I like to paint and stuff. So he gets her the paint supplies. So she paints every day in the garden, in the house, in her room. She's having the time of her life, right? And one night she's asleep and she hears somebody outside her window calling her name, like Feyre, Feyre. And then she goes to the window and sees her father standing in the bush, asking her to come out and, like, come home with me. And she's so surprised. She's like, how the hell did you cross the wall? And like,
is this a hallucination?
Exactly.
Like,
she's like, how did you travel so far with a broken knee? Like, what's going on? But she's like, oh my God, my father is here to rescue me. So she packs a bag, puts on warm clothes because it's still winter in the human world, and she runs across the garden, or like the front lawn. But Tamlin finds her and like stops her because he was coming home from somewhere at night. And then he's like, where the hell are you going? And she's like, my father is here. And then he's like, are you sure? Look again. And then it was not her father. It was a creature of shadow who was
presented
as her father. Like that creature was trying to lure Feyre out of the protection of Tamlin's territory so that creature could hunt. And then that creature's name is the Bogey. And, it's very much like, what is that thing from Harry Potter?
The Dementor?
No, the other thing. A Bogart.
Oh, okay.
Where it can read your worst thoughts, like your worst fear, and it turns into that. This creature is a little bit like that. It'll materialize into your fears and like brainwash you and like either scare you to death or eat you. So the Bogey was trying to eat Feyre. And then Tamlin is like, see, this is why I tell you to stay in the damn house. I don't have my power. My boundaries aren't safe. All these creatures are coming in to it's dangerous out here. So please listen to me. And she doesn't want to stay in the house because she's like, what am I supposed to do all day? But then, they have this conversation over and over again. And then Tamlin finally warms up to her, and he's like, today I want to take you somewhere. Like, let's, just relax today. We're going to go on a picnic. So Tamlin, Lucian, and Feyre, they pack a picnic bag and like get on their horses, and Tamlin takes them somewhere in the forest to up a hill. And then he's like, oh, this used to be my favorite place. Used to come here to relax when I was a kid. And then he takes her to a small pond of starlight.
Oh, she loves the stars.
Yeah. So, and she's surprised. She's like, how is this here? And then he's like, I have no idea. Maybe during the creation of the world, a star fell, and then it's not a pond of water, it's a pond of starlight.
Interesting.
And Lucian is like, oh no, never mind, you guys go have fun. And then he stays back.
Like, I'm not third wheeling, y'all go.
Exactly. So he's just, enjoying his wine, enjoying the summer, like one day where they don't have to run around saving their territory and stuff. And then Tamlin and Feyre are bonding now. They're like, and then they get into the water, and then she sees him without a shirt, and she's like,
yeah,
I like what I see.
I like it a lot.
And then they're talking, they're getting to know each other. She finds out about Tamlin, like how he became a High Lord. He's like, I never wanted this power, but my father and my brother were killed by another High Lord of a different court. So the power came to me, and I became in charge of all of this. If not for this, I just wanted to join a band. And he plays the fiddle. He likes playing the fiddle, so he just wanted to be a musician, but he ended up being a High Lord. And he's very traditional, so he tries to follow all the rules and the authority that his father maintained in the court and all that. And he's struggling because he doesn't know what's happening with the magic. He can't talk about it because he's like, I just can't, and all that. And then they have a summer festival or a spring festival. So they celebrate summer solstice and then spring solstice. So the spring solstice is what they call Kalanmai. It's a big ritual that they do. There's big bonfires, everybody drinks and eats, but they have to. And then it's called a Great Riot. So everybody in the spring court is preparing for it, but Feyre is not invited to go to the celebration. And then she asks Lucian, like, what's going on? Like, why can't I go? He's like, if you care about yourself, if you care about your safety, you will stay in the house. And she asks Tamlin, and Tamlin is like all dressed up, not dressed up, like he's just wearing a pant and it's called a balderic, like it's a holder for knives and stuff. He's wearing no shirt. And then he's just going out there, and she's like, what the hell is going on? And he's like, just stay in the house. Like, at least tell her now what's going on.
Yeah, because then curiosity will kill Feyre. Not kill the cat. It's going to kill her. So.
And then she asks Alice. Alice is like, nobody told you? It's none of my business. Just stay in the house. And then, so she stays in the house, but she hears all the celebrations, like the drum beats and stuff, and she tries to sleep, but then she hears this voice, and like she feels this pull towards where the celebration is happening. So against everybody telling her not to leave the house, she leaves the house.
The voice is called
The voice
FOMO.
is called.
She had a fear of missing out. She had to go.
Yeah. So she follows this pull that she feels towards the celebration. She goes, and then she sees all these different fairies from all different, like she's never seen so many people. She's like, where the hell were these people? And she tries to, as like she's walking towards the celebration, and then 3 really tall men corner her. They're like, oh, who are you? Oh, you're a human. How the hell are you here? And like they were trying to lure her into the forest to either kill her or assault her or whatever. It's not stated, but it's implied. And then she's very scared. She's like, oh, I'm with a friend, like I'm friend with these 2 fairies. And they're like, don't lie to us, we can smell the fear on you. And then so a man comes out of the forest, and like he grabs her, and then he's like, oh, I've been looking for you. you're here. And then he tells the other three guys, thank you for finding her for me. And then these three guys are really scared of this man. And then Feyre turns around, sees him, and then she's like, oh my God, this is the most beautiful man I've ever seen. And he's really tall. He's all dressed in black. He has really dark hair, purple eyes. His eyes are so blue and dark, they're almost purple.
Mhm.
That's how she describes him. And then this man, we don't know his name. This man is like, she's with me, leave her alone. So these three guys just run. They're so scared of him. And then he's like, what are you doing here? Like, what is a human doing in the fairy world? And then she's like, oh, I'm here with my friends. Like, they know me. I'm just, going towards the food table to meet them and everything. And then he's like, okay, fine. And then he leaves and she runs back home. She's like, oh my God, I almost died. And then she stays in her room all night. And then she remembers in the middle of the night that she's hungry because she forgot to eat dinner. So she finally comes out of her room and then she sees Tamlin in the corridor. And he's all, sweaty and he's very angry and everything. And then he corners her and then he's like, you were there tonight. I could smell you there. And she's like, oh, I didn't mean to, I was just I wanted to know what was going on. And then he's like, I told you to stay away. If I looked for you and I couldn't find you, so I took another female to the cave. And she's like, what are you talking about?
What?
So the whole thing, the ritual is like the High Lord has to have sex with the female so that whatever the magic they generate through it is given back to the land. So it's supposed to regenerate magic. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So Callan Mai is basically a big orgy.
Oh my God. Is he the only one?
No, everybody does it, but he has to do it too because he's the High Lord, so he has to initiate it.
Oh,
so there are all eligible females standing in a line, and he has to pick one and then take her into a cave and have sex with her.
Oh my God. So are they all other fairies?
Yeah, all of them are fairies.
Oh my God.
No humans involved. Feyre is the only human here right now.
Damn.
Yeah. So Tamlin is like,
wait, so what does he mean by that? Like, I had to go with another woman?
So he's like, I smelled you
Uh-huh.
and I wanted you, but you weren't there.
He wanted to have sex with her.
Yeah, but he took another fairy because he's like, I had to finish the ritual. And then she's all hot and bothered
Oh my God.
by it. And then she's like, what are you saying? Like, and then he bites her.
Wait, a moment of silence. What?
Yeah.
What? He bites her?
He bites her neck. Like literally, like
Uh-huh.
draws blood
Uh-huh.
and then he licks it.
Kinky.
Yeah. And then
I was like, oh, hickey, but damn,
No.
blood?
Blood. And then he's like, go to bed.
Shut the fuck. That's hot.
He sends him back to her room, and then Feyre is just like, she's just in her bed waiting for the bedroom door to
She's
open.
like, damn, I'm thirsty.
Mhm.
I was hungry, but now I'm
Mhm.
thirsty too.
Yes. He doesn't come to her room though, but that was
So she asked him to come up?
no, like she expected him to.
Oh, yeah.
Because after this moment, she thought he would follow her to
Yeah.
her room, but he doesn't.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then the next morning, she goes to breakfast and like she tries to hide it, but then she's like, I don't care. He did it. He knows it.
Yeah.
So she goes to breakfast with that huge hickey on her neck, and then Lucian almost loses his shit. And Lucian is like, who did that to you? And then Feyre is like, ask him.
Shut up.
And then Tamlin is all embarrassed, like, mind your own business. And like he keeps eating and everything.
Oh my God.
So they now that there's chemistry and like they like each other, and
Oh
then
my God.
she's having the time of her life and she's painting and everything, frolicking around the spring coat and everything. And then the summer solstice comes and then they celebrate.
I have not gotten past this whole thing. For him to be like, I knew, like, I could tell you were there, but I couldn't find you. Otherwise, I would have picked you. And then comes running back home, and she's there, and then does that, and then it's like, go to bed. Shut up right now. Holy shit. I'm blushing so hard. For people listening, you can't, you're like, I am so red right now. It's crazy. Okay.
And this is not even the spiciest part about the
Oh my
book or
God.
the series.
I'm shaking. Okay. Okay. Anyways, let's move past this. So they're frolicking. They're having the time of their lives. They're in love. Whatever. Okay.
Yeah, they're falling in love with each other, and then the summer solstice comes along, and for this, Feyre is invited.
Mhm.
So again, there's a huge bonfire and music and dancing and food and all of that, and then Tamlin is playing the fiddle because that's what he likes to do. And then Feyre is asked not to drink the wine because the fairy wine is like too strong for the humans, but she's like, "Don't tell me what to do."
Yeah.
Lucian is like, "You are a stupid human.
Yeah.
I'm trying to save your life, and all you want to do is
You could
risk
get
it."
liver disease with just one sip. You stupid. Okay.
So she drinks the wine, obviously,
Yeah.
and then she's all, happy and wants to dance around. So she dances with Tamlin all night long, and they're
Mhm.
partying all night long. And then he takes her away from the party, and he's like, "Come with me, I want to show you something." And then they go over a hill, and there are like small wispy forest creatures. Do you know the blue flame thingies from
Frozen?
Merida?
Oh. Yeah. The wisps.
The wisps,
Yeah.
something like that. So
Mhm.
creatures similar to that are also in this world.
Mhm.
And then Feyre is so mesmerized by them and all of that. And then, a few days before this, Tamlin and Feyre are like hanging around under a tree in the summer breeze and stuff. And then he's like, "Oh, the song of this willow always puts me to sleep." And then Feyre is like, "What are you talking about? I don't hear anything." And then he lifts the glamour from her eyes and ears. So
What is that?
so the extent of magic and how much she can sense it, there was a glamour on her. Like Tamlin stopped her. Like he put a spell on her that she couldn't see and hear everything that was in the
Oh.
magical world for their security reasons as well. Like what if she ran away, told other humans and stuff, right?
Mhm.
So he lifts the glamour from her eyes and her ears so she can hear the breeze and the song of the trees and like how the wind is blowing in the leaves. And so she can hear the song of the willow that Tamlin can hear,
Uh-huh.
and then she can actually see exactly who he is. The
Oh,
mask is still on his
okay.
face, but like the beauty of him, she is mesmerized by it, like the glow on his face and his hair.
It's
and
like when Edward sparkled for the first time.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And so she's just like, her jaw is on the floor when she sees him.
Yeah.
Once the glamour is lifted, and she's just like mesmerized, and she's so happy and everything.
She's like, "That's my man right there." he's glamorous and shit.
Yeah. So on summer solstice nice. So he takes her to the hillock, and then she's able to see the forest creatures and everything. And then they see the sunrise,
Oh.
and that's the first time he kisses her. He's like, "I'm so happy to be here with you," and like and all of that, right? He doesn't say too much, but obviously they both really like each other now. And then he kisses her, and then she finally feels like something in her broken soul is mending. That
Aw.
she is like, "I think I can finally find a purpose for myself here, or like my life here," and she's happy.
Yeah. That's so sweet.
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
Mhm.
Was it like a magical fairy kiss?
It was
Okay.
everything
Aw.
she's ever wanted. Like, she's kissed people before, right? She had
Yeah.
Isaac, but she compares Isaac and Tamlin as like Isaac was more boy and
Mhm.
Tamlin is a man.
He's a man.
Yeah, so he knows what he's doing.
Yeah. Oh, he knows what he's doing. Just kidding. This is the first time they kissed.
Mhm.
So
This is the first time they
let's
kissed.
take it slow.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So she forgot all about her little FWB.
Mhm. All the problems,
All the
all
problems,
the
it's all
family,
gone.
everything. She's like, "I don't care. I'm gonna live here."
Yeah.
Happy.
Damn. She's like, "I'm glad I killed that wolf
Yeah.
to end up with this man right here."
Mm-hmm.
That's so sweet.
Yeah. Let's take a break here.
Okay.
I'll let you digest all the details,
Yeah.
and then we'll pick up the story in the next episode.
If this episode piqued your interest and you want to pick up the book and meet us where we left off, we ended this episode at around chapter 25. If not, we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.